Nazi scum, get out! 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 Everybody close. Nazi scum, get out! Nazi scum, get out!
This is very invasion of the body snatchers.
You know, you sort of, I knew that they would go on for hours. They would have gone on for hours if I just stood there. One of the guys in this socialist group or whatever was a reporter for Gizmodo, which is the company that was formed out of the wreckage of Gawker.
It's the leavings of Gawker.
It is the droppings. You know, is that like a doner?
It's like when a dog gets hit by a truck and their guts splatter on the ground.
Or like a doner kebab that's made out of testicles and lungs. You know, it's like
hot dogs.
Yeah.
Vienna sausages.
All the meat goes to like real people in restaurants, and then just all the churned up stuff goes into those food trucks in university towns. You know, have like a.
But one of them you said was from The Nation.
And the other one was a woman from The Nation, which is
The Nation at Churchill.
At least according to that magazine.
No socialists will be caught in that outrageous area.
One of America's most prestigious magazines, at least according to The Nation.
Would you like me to host the rest of the hours of British Servant of the Crown?
I'll do Valley Girl if you do Servant of the Crown.
Infowars is the cutting edge of shattering paradigms, of expanding free thought. And now, to thank all of the billions of people that have watched our reports on YouTube, we are starting something brand new. 50% off on our best-selling nootropic, Brain Force, for viewers of the Alex Jones channels right here on YouTube. That's 50% off one of the best-selling nootropics on the market. We take the very best organic ingredients that boost our brain, our mental capacity in a healthy way, and bring it to you at an already low price at 50% off. It is $25 to $30 under the price of leading competitors that aren't even as good. So, InfoWarsStore.com, 50% off on our #1 best-selling product, Brain Force, with promo code ALEX. Again, for YouTube viewers, 50% off at InfoWarsStore.com with promo code ALEX on Brain Force. Check it out today, and please click the notifications and also subscribe if you aren't following us on one of our major channels that have now reached more than 5 billion people. Thanks to all of you. Now, going back to Milo Yiannopoulos, best-selling author of Dangerous.com, here with us, as Mark Twain famously said, rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. They demonize you. They had fake PR stunts that you were over, that you were destroyed. They banned you on Twitter, but you're still just churning along there, getting the word out.
Well, just like you, I know that all of these things are designed, or the piece about you and Paul, which is designed to sort of insinuate itself into your brain and kind of drive a wedge between two people who work brilliantly together, and who both of whom combined reach, you know, a larger audience than either of you individually would be able to. It's designed to get into your head like a little worm and just sow the seeds of doubt. And if you let it, they won.
And it says that I bully Paul.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the opposite. Paul's like a peer, and usually it's him calling me saying you've gone too far. I mean,
by left-wing standards, you speaking is bullying. By left-wing standards, me speaking is bullying, because we're saying something that upsets or disagrees, and we're not constantly whatever. You know, when I worked for Steve Bannon, I know people have very different opinions about Steve and how he sort of lost his way or whatever, but when I worked with Steve, it was a pretty grueling experience. You know, he was a hard taskmaster. He would scream, he would yell. I mean, he would fire people several times a day. Raheem Kassam, the editor of Breitbart London, I think got fired 4 times in a day. He said, "You're fired. I never want to hear from you again." 2 hours later, he's like, "Where's that story I asked for?" That's how a lot of that's how a lot of like juggernaut, highly demanding people in business and media are. You, by comparison, are a charming pussycat compared to some of the people I've worked with. So obviously these allegations are ridiculous.
I only blow up when I ask for little lower thirds for years. and I'm not going to get them, so it just doesn't matter.
just a little something at the bottom of the screen that just says who I'm talking to. And
no, you know when I blow up is like when my wife calls and then I got to sign something and then I like trip on cords and then someone else is there with it's like
it's a building thing. No, look, I'm just saying, you know,
but I rarely blow up.
In terms of...
But you read that article, well, the funniest thing is, remember they finally released new Beavis and Butthead season after 20 years?
No, I didn't see that.
Well, they've got one where Beavis and Butthead decide they've been sexually harassed because women are telepathically wanting them.
Yeah.
And then they accuse the judge of that. Did you know this EEOC complaint against me? It says Jones never made homosexual advances.
He was
but
he was thinking it.
It said he telepathically did it.
So this is. I mean, that's the standard of proof. You know, it's just like, well, I'm sure he was thinking it. This is what, well, presumably where sexual harassment is going. No, I mean, you know,
well, sure. What did Mike Judge know when that was like a couple of years ago that came out? Like, because I'm friends with Mike. I got to talk to him. I haven't talked to him in a while. But again, how did he put that out 3 years ago where it's now telepathic?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so in the respect of blowing up, losing your temper, having a hissy fit, you're at like 0.1 Bannons, so you have nothing to worry about.
Ooh, it's like Bannons. It's
0.1 Bannon. 0.1 Bannons. Yeah, Bannons is the scale, is the metric of hysterical temper tantrums. Anyway. You're nothing compared to that. As the lawsuit stuff, it's just designed to, all of your time is used up here so that none of your time can be used up, you know, building new shows, building new products.
Which we're trying to do.
Of course, as you're always trying to do. This stuff is not an accident, it's a strategy. It is designed to consume your time and most of all to consume your emotional energy. Because each of us, even, you know, those of us who are...
So the left are psychic vampires. Let me ask you this. Why do they ruin everything they run? Why is everything about bullying when they're the biggest bullies? Why are they such horrible people? I mean, it just never ends.
Well, look, I mean, my view on this is that in many cases, these social justice warriors become arbiters of other people's behavior because they're unhappy with their own. They become arbiters of other people's psychology because they have something defective about their own. These people want to make everybody else miserable because they themselves are suffering. And you can see that when I went into that bar in New York, I went for a brunch. I went for Chadwick Moore, who's on Tucker Carlson all the time, another gay guy. Got fired, by the way, from the gay magazine he worked for writing a profile of me, which was insufficiently venomous. They were like, you haven't been mean enough about Milo Yiannopoulos, so you're fired. Works with me now. We just went in there for brunch. Can you believe this? How far the left has moved from its previous mission of looking after minorities. Now they're getting between gay men and brunch. We just went in there, wanted to have lunch, and 30 of these like harpies, these screaming mental. One of them was like a meat mountain. I think she was a woman. You know, just this this huge thing just charging at me. It was like being run at by a hill or something. You know, just I sort of could see my life flash before my eyes as this pink and purple pierced monstrosity. Just, you know, just
are you sure it wasn't Grimace from McDonald's?
It was like a full solar eclipse for a second, you know, just looming over. I was like, oh, that's it. I was like,
and I noticed you're like trying to pay the tab. They won't let you.
Just like it's over.
Nazi scum.
I've had a good innings. I've had a good life. I've had a nice time. I've got a good car.
Since you bring it up, let's go ahead and roll that tape from a few weeks ago. Here they are.
Yeah.
Nazi scum, get out! 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 Nazi scum,
for some reason, it paused the video. Let's reload it. The fun part about live radio and TV. Let's reload the clip. Do we have the clip back?
What you could hear there, though, which is the important bit, is this sort of cultic, repetitious, you know.
And they're always fighting World War II with a Jewish gay guy.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is a Nazi except them.
Yeah.
The Nazis were the ones that actually chanted and kicked Jews out of bars.
Right. No, the irony is lost on them because they have this new weird definition of white supremacy, anti-Semitism, and white nationalism, which seems to boil down to, do you like Trump or not?
Let's try that clip again. Let's see if the second time's the charm. Here it is.
Nazi scum, get out! 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 Everybody close. Nazi scum, get out! Nazi scum, get out!
This is very Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
You know, you sort of, I knew that they would go on for hours. They would have gone on for hours if I just stood there. And I thought, you know, I'll just be dignified and gracious. I didn't have security with me, which is my own stupid fault because I should know better than that. But I didn't want it to turn nasty. What the video they didn't post on the internet was when they sort of made a wall. Some walls are good for some things.
Well, that's what leftists do. They bump into you.
Right. They just bumped, you know, just bumped, wasn't it? But of course, they didn't post it. Anyway, there's a serious point here, which is not me. I don't care. I'm a big guy. I can look after myself. Like I've, you know, resources and platforms and fortitude and all the rest of it. My worry is when people see stuff like that happening in real life or on the news, what happens to the ordinary Republicans and libertarians at home?
Oh, it's meant to intimidate everybody and send a message. Let me ask you this question when we come back in 2 minutes.
You know?
How did it start, though? I mean, like, the one person spotted you and then ran over?
Yeah, I just heard my name.
Like one flying monkey?
Yeah. I heard my name from somewhere else in the bar. And then I heard this woman say, let's do an action. Let's do an action. And then it all sort of spiraled out from there. We went out for a cigarette and they all started booing. You know, they started yelling and screaming and booing. And then when we tried to come back in, they would not allow us back to our table.
Well, that's how you fight Nazis, is you kick Jews out of restaurants. We'll be right back with the third hour. All right, Milo's here with us. A couple segments left. We're going to go out and have a action today. I'm not going to say where, but we're going to take action.
Let's do an action.
We got an order from the Russians. They said.
Oh, do you really? Yeah.
Like, teletype.
Have you got like one of those little Minitel things that the instructions from Putin come in on?
It goes
just like.
The probably have congressional hearing letters. Jones, you once testified on television. You got orders.
You got
now you're it's called a joke.
Minitel from the Kremlin. Just. They'll play the segment. Now there we go. This is how they're going to get Trump. This is how they're going to get Trump, because he speaks, I guess, like the two of us, he speaks extemporaneously. He speaks in metaphor. He kind of, you know, is exploring ideas as he's talking about them, and he kind of, you know, he has that very loose manner of speaking. And these, if you want to, if you are determined to deliberately they're
going to claim it's obstruction, even though he jokes. But here's the good: he's his own branch of government. So this whole tail wag the dog thing, that if he lied to Mueller or Mueller says he's indicted, sorry, can't do that. It's all made up.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is if you're somebody who, you know, like me, gives hours of interviews a day, or like you, who is on the show for hours a day, and you speak extemporaneously and in an exploratory fashion, just like the president does, it is easy for somebody determined with an axe to grind to deliberately misrepresent you.
Sure. Meanwhile, they're the ones that lied to Congress about illegal spying. They're the ones running around total criminals in bed with the Russians. But this is a short segment. You told me something that I didn't know about you being thrown out of that New York pub / restaurant when they were saying Nazi scum, that they only showed the part where you left. They didn't show.
It didn't show me.
Or that they were media people. Or
that two of the people, and this, by the way, I had walked in, unbeknownst to me, to a local meeting of one of the New York Socialist Club, whatever.
You'd walked into an SJW power nest.
I did, and I didn't know. I swear I didn't know.
How dare you into our royal area? Well, look, King George Cross, little did they know, white supremacist flag flew above them, and prostrate yourselves immediately. Apologize.
This is
how I told you, Watson, by the way.
Yeah, I know. This is and me. This is the New York Socialists organization, or whoever. What do they call themselves? In a bar called Churchill's, drinking $6 craft ale.
Like, they don't even know that it's the St. George Cross.
All rich white kids, you know, who work, and
they're so historically ignorant. Oh, it's even better. It's called Churchill's.
It's called Churchill's.
I didn't even know that.
These colonial hating socialist like lunatics in a bar called Churchill's drinking $6. Well, of course they were drinking craft ale because they're all lesbians. But I love that, by the way, the lesbians thing came out. We have to talk about that later.
Oh yeah, can you guys get the Media Matters boiled down to the list? By the way, I love lesbians. I love women. I'm just asking why they all have horrible mullets.
Especially in movies where they belong. Porn.
Let me ask you this: why did mullets go out in the early '80s, but lesbians still have them?
They're living in the glorious past of the '80s, where we all should still be. But no, the two things before we go to the end. Two things about this. Well, one thing. It's two people. One of the guys in this socialist group or whatever was a reporter for Gizmodo, which is the company that was formed out of the wreckage of Gawker.
It's the leavings of Gawker.
It is the droppings. You know, is that, you know, like a doner.
It's like when a dog gets hit by a truck and their guts splatter on the ground.
Or like a doner kebab that's made out of testicles and lungs. You know, it's like
hot dogs.
Yeah.
Vienna sausages.
All the meat goes to like real people in restaurants, and then just all the churned up stuff goes into those food trucks in university towns. You know, have like a.
But one of them you said was from The Nation.
And the other one was a woman from The Nation, which is
The Nation at Churchill?
At least according to that magazine.
No socialists will be caught in that outrageous area.
One of America's most prestigious magazines, at least according to The Nation.
Would you like me to host the rest of the hour as a British servant of the Crown?
I'll do Valley Girl if you do Servant of the Crown.
When we return, I shall do it in a Shakespearean rendition of Churchill.
That sounds really good.
And when we return, and you will do it in the cue up that Valley Girl thing that they think we're all afraid of. The one where she goes, Venezuela. Hey, we got to keep you on with us, though, when Omar Navarro comes on, too.
Of course.
Milo Yiannopoulos, an iron curtain of censorship and control has descended upon the Americas.
I'm not kidding, were you? That means I have to do it, too.
I'm going to do this entire hour in a Churchillian accent.
I mean, it's not bad, actually. It's pretty good. It's not a bad... I mean, most Americans cannot do a British accent.
I hope they bring me my scotch immediately.
Most people in Britain do not speak like that anymore, but it wasn't a bad impression of
I understand you. Get at them, man. Get in there. The enemy. The enemy is here. How dare you?
We shall fight them on Infowars.
We shall fight them with growing confidence and strength in the air. And then even if this island was to fall, our great navy from seas across the globe would return to fight on and victory.
There we go. Lovely.
All right.
Beautiful.
This is how I torture
Watson.
Watson.
A lot better than I do.
When Watson doesn't behave.
Far better. Yeah. Oh, really? Is that the punishment? He'll call you up and he'll say, no. He'll get in your ear, and his reward is that your church.
Only when he ignores me. And then I go, how dare you?
Does he ignore you sometimes?
Yes.
See, I do the same thing when Owen doesn't return my calls. When I do eventually.
Well, when Paul ignores me, that's when I finally get him. I go, now you will pay for what you've done. Tell me of the Admiralty.
When the lovely, yes, no, it's.
And then I make him talk like Emperor Palpatine to me.
How does Emperor Palpatine talk?
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Very authoritarian British accent. We are preparing to launch false flags against their operations. Then we will release diseases through the southern population before we bring down the hammer and crush their entire operation.
See, that's going to be quoted in print. In your
already, our operatives are in control of their high command, steering all of Europe into total destruction. Anyways.
No, I have a...
You like that?
Yes, Dad. I have a similar system of punishment with the lovely Owen Schroyer from the War Room.
Really?
When he doesn't return my calls, I'll give him exaggerated cuddles and kisses and hugs in front of the crew backstage. You know, so he'll be like, "Why don't you return my calls? You said we were really
Now, see,
friends."
if I got in trouble for telepathically grooming, you have to stop it right now.
Well, I don't work here, so he can't have me for sexual harassment.
What am I telepathically doing?
You're telling me to move on and we should talk about stories and not harass Owen Schroyer. Yep, there we go. See? Brilliant. Anyone can do it.
Understand what that does?
You know, I feel suitably chastised.
No. I don't know what I was beaming there.
Well, you were glamoring me, you know, like vampires. They can make you believe things that are not true. Like CNN, you know, they just hypnotize you. And after a while, you just start to believe things that couldn't possibly be true.
But getting serious, there's this girl called Sailor Pizza Girl. What's she called?
Is this thing, Sailor Pizza Girl?
Sailor Socialist.
Sailor Social, yes. Tell us about her.
Okay, they say, because I came in here like during the South by Southwest, we had so many videos, hundreds a day. I said, listen, put them on sub-channels. I go, how old are these videos? Like 30 of them. And they go, well, they've been up about 20 minutes. We just uploaded them. I said, delete those, re-upload them on sub-channels, and then we'll get more views. I walk out. It becomes this thing on NPR, CNN, Vice, that I am scared of this woman. And then I finally watched it last week. It is hilarious.
No, and this argument rests on the idea that you would post a video yourself on your own channel that embarrasses you somehow, or that you're worried about, and then delete it as though you wouldn't know what you were uploading on your own channel in the first place. This is the sort of straws they have to clutch at when they. But
they don't even look at the video.
No, they haven't.
Have you seen it?
No, yeah, I've seen clips from it.
It is devastatingly annoying.
I have seen clips from it.
When you talked about a Valley girl,
yeah.
And she's like, I heard of it.
I really heard of it.
And she's got her little fancy wannabe Japanese outfit on.
It's called vocal fry. You know that really? It's I got it. That's called vocal fry. That's a linguistic term.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess I have it, but she has it in a weird way. And then she's wearing a Japanese schoolgirl outfit, and then she's got a latte, and she's got like $1,000 smartphone. She's at a $3,000 conference, and she's sitting here going, "Oh, they want." Well, here, let's roll the tape. It's too powerful. We've got to roll it. Go ahead and roll it.
Hi, are you a fan of Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, I am.
What do you like about him?
That he's a socialist.
Why is socialism good?
Are you like,
Wow. Look how she keeps looking at the phone.
Their outfit, yeah.
what is this for?
We're asking people why they like Bernie Sanders.
For Infowars.
Yes, we are Infowars.
I think he has a lot of integrity. I like his value system. I like what he stands for.
Exactly what values.
Eating the rich.
Eating the rich. Well, are you aware that Bernie Sanders lives in $3 million homes?
No, I was not aware of that.
Yeah. And are you aware? I'm going to ask you something. So if they're about eating the rich, why do you think so many of the 1% support socialism?
Is that true?
It's very true.
Like who?
Well, for example, you know Venezuela, right?
Heard of it.
A majority of the country is currently eating rats, while their politicians are drinking champagne on a daily basis.
But that's not the 1%.
The 1% of Venezuela.
I'm talking about America.
Well, I'm saying, since if Bernie Sanders were president, right, and he wanted to bring the same ideas as for socialism into this country,
Yeah.
do you think that we would benefit?
Yeah.
But I just told you Venezuela is eating rats.
But I just want people to have health care, honey. I don't want, like...
Honey.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Like worms in your brain, honestly.
Yeah, like worms.
I mean, you're the one who can't answer the question.
Is she high? Has she been smoking dope or something?
You can have health care without socialism.
I want people to have free health care.
Why free?
Pays for.
Why would the government pay for it?
Because I think everyone has a right to have health care.
So here's the deal. They think like this is their champion because they know they've got a bunch of dumb followers. So they have to hold up idiocy like tires that blow out the first day you buy them is the best.
And that is supposedly the video that like blows Infowars out of the water. Well, that's the best they've got. I think you're doing okay. Because this is a woman who doesn't even know what socialism means. On the one hand, she's saying she supports Bernie Sanders because she wants everyone to have free healthcare. Well, that's not, I mean, maybe that's quote unquote socialized medicine, but there are plenty of capitalist democracies that have, you know, single payer, whatever. Now, she's perfectly entitled to the view that, you know, that healthcare is a right. I happen to think she's wrong. I think it's stupid. I don't think it works very well. And I think Canada and Britain prove that. She's entitled to that view, but that isn't socialism.
But, you know, they've turned it into like a meme. This is our chat.
Like, I think you guys have worms in your brain. Like, I don't even...
You got like worms in your brain right now. But why do they hold up the dumbest people?
This is like the epic takedown. You know, because I've been in a few of those epic takedown videos myself, but it's me doing the takedown. And normally it requires like a sassy put down, a fact they can't answer, a little bit of a rhetorical flourish. It requires you to utterly...
Yeah, there was no Perry Mason moment, nothing. This woman was a moron. Venezuela is eating rats, and the royal family, the communist family, now lives in Florida and Switzerland, you dumb witch.
I know, it's just like, I really just like want health care.
I just want it to be nice. I got a $3,000 ticket to be here, and my boyfriend looks like, you know, a mid-level executive that drives a $100,000 Audi.
What was that terracotta-colored blazer with those Oakley sunglasses and the thinning hair? This is, I don't know, it could be her dad, could be her boyfriend, could be both. You know, like there's this weird guy hovering around outside. These people are weird. Deeply weird, and they have such outsized influence on the way that Americans are here.
And they want to tell us, oh, it's all going to be free. We should show up and say, South by Southwest, we demand everyone be able to go free.
I really believe...
Because Louis Black, that's his fake name, that runs it, he thinks, you know, he's a beatnik that makes $100 million a year. But I think it ought to be free.
I believe that access to South by Southwest is a fundamental human right. And I think we should go outside and campaign for free entry for any...
And I think they should have a clinic that pays for sex changes at it.
Any registered Republican.
And I identify as a surgeon, and I'll do it with a pair of loppers.
Just one of those garden secateurs, you know, roll up.
Hedge clippers. 7-speed electric hedge clipper. No, but I'm serious. I identify as a doctor, and I say sex changes are free. I've watched the South Park video. I've seen them do it.
South by Southwest has got to fund your clinic, but you'll do the operations for free. There we go.
South by Southwest to offer free sex changes. Surgeon Jones, I'll use a weed eater.
This is Canada in Texas today.
Yes.
Canada in Texas today.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
You just saw a short excerpt of the full interview we did with this notable awakened human. If you want to see the full unedited interview, go to Infowars Interviews online. We have links below, and we have links to the side to our other channels, but the full interviews are being posted to Infowars Interviews online on YouTube and other platforms. And you can always find the full live transmission at Infowars.com/show.
Years ago, Infowars Life created the powerful MycoZX formula to help you combat internal yeast. As the years went on and more toxins were pumped into the environment, our team knew we had to create a bigger and better formula to help support your gut health. MycoZX Plus is the result of the search for that formula, a unique natural formula designed to support the body's natural cleansing of yeast and fungal organisms. There's no better product to help your body fight back. MycoZX Plus helps support a healthy microbial balance in the body, supports your digestive tract, and addresses the intestinal yeast that can cause you problems if it goes unchecked. Powered by an impressive list of ingredients, including grapefruit seed extract, pau d'arco bark, and grapeseed extract, our formula is fueled by ingredients that stood the test of time as powerful microbalancing properties. Pick up a bottle of the new and improved MycoZX Plus today at InfowarsLife.com. That's InfowarsLife.com.